Hey, Anime Addicts, Mitsugi here. We are trying to make it easier than ever for you to join our Discord server. The Discord is where all the fun stuff happens. The trivia, the watch parties, the banter, the Secret Santas, the everything. Head over to the Discord, www.AAAdiscord.com. From your cell phone, straight to the Discord. Take you straight there. No complications. That's AAAdiscord.com to go straight to the Discord and join the fun. Again, that's AAAdiscord.com to join the fun. And now, time to start the podcast.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAApodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello and welcome to the 655th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Hello, my name is Caroline, and with me here today we have Mitsugi. How are you doing, Mitsugi?
I have a peach-colored monster, ultra peachy keen, tastes exactly like peach rings. Highly recommended. Wait. Delicious. I'm happy to be here, ready to fucking go.
The audience here. I feel like they missed out on the crisp sound of an opening can.
If they want the Foley of the opening can, they have to earn it. And as far as I'm concerned, they've done nothing to earn it.
And
so
by earn it, you mean hentai episodes.
That's right.
Okay, it's such a loose sound.
Which we'll be doing one of later today.
Also here today is Mason, and he was not here last week. We didn't kill him like we usually kill Mitsugi.
That's because I'm nice. Here. Mason is not. I am. Mason's like, Mitz isn't here. Kill him.
Yeah, how you doing,
How it goes?
Mason?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm surprised I even need to be here after Mitsugi gave such a thorough and, I would say, Academy Award-winning performance of imitating me last week. It was pretty much...
Did you like it?
I was like I was singing double. I was like, oh, who's this Mason guy? I don't think I like him too much. But nope, glad to be back here and glad to talk about anime, which I'm told, people have informed me, I can't vouch for it, but I've been told we actually talk about anime on this show.
Sometimes.
And I'm here to do just that.
I'm Christmas-fied. I have my tree up. No ornaments yet. No other decorations in the room. But I do have my tree up, and I do have my shirt on, and I'm ready to go. Very nice. Thank you for that contribution. So let's remind the people where they can find us. Of course, we are on Twitch, twitch.tv/AAA podcast, as we are right now, live every Sunday at 5 p.m. EST. You can also find us on Twitter, on TikTok, whenever I decide to make another TikTok, because my creativity has been dry recently. I have not been able to come up with another good idea, so we'll see whenever that happens. Also, our Facebook, if you're ancient. Also, our Discord, if you're hip and happening. And if you heard right before this, Mitsugi has announced that we have a new link that they can follow. It's super easy to remember, AAAdiscord.com. You just type that in to whatever search bar you want to, and you'll be magically transported to our little community we have on there. And what do we have going on there, Mitsugi?
Well, we have the Secret Santas. You're going to want to check out that Secret Santa because the deadline for entry is December 11th. So
next Sunday, one more week to go. And for people listening to the recorded podcast, perhaps only a few days away. So if people want to get in on that, give an anime recommendation and be given an anime recommendation and not know who is who until in January, I think, then please get onto the Secret Santa channel of our Discord.
And you're going to make Caroline very sad if you don't, because she is very pumped up about it. She's very enthusiastic. Let's honor her enthusiasm by participating Everyone's going to have a good time. So the Discord, AAADiscord.com. Look, we own all kinds of URLs now. It's fucking awesome. In fact, I was told that the Support the Addicts URL is now worth $1,800.
Why?
I don't know. According to GoDaddy, because they feel
Those
like
addicts need their supports.
Yeah, they do. They feel like, I guess, that could be bought by like.
What addicts are they trying to support?
I don't know, but I will sell that URL in a blink if someone comes and tries to buy it.
Speaking of selling things, this Secret Santa is a free exchange, so that shouldn't be an issue. And the Discord, unlike other places, is also free. So really, there's no reason not to. But
it's a great place to make new friends and enemies.
Oh.
but mostly friends. And yeah, if you want more information on the Secret Santa, it's in the pinned notes. Just follow the directions. It's super easy. And make sure you do it before December 11th. And now let's talk about what we have going on in this episode. We have What Have We Been Watching? Our extracurriculars, if you will, outside of the podcast. And we will also be playing a game of Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? The best game to have ever been created. And a review of AoAshi. So let's get to it.
It's time for big news of the week.
Totoro and Spirited Away were both included in Sight and Sound magazine's poll of 100 greatest films of all time. It's a very competitive poll, so this poll contained the opinions of 1,639 film directors, critics, and other specialists, which is double from the last time they did this, which was 2012. And if you look at the types of films that made it on the list, they are, it's just like very competitive list here. I mean, a lot of these films I've never heard of because they are really favoring the artsy-fartsy films. There's a lot of like French films from like the 70s, Tokyo Story from 1953. Like most of these are in black and white. I mean, if you look at the list, The Godfather was number 12, which a lot of people were probably like, what? Like a lot of people think that's the best film. Godfather was number 12. There's just all these films. It's very just stuff that people haven't really heard of because I've heard of Taxi Driver. That's on here. Psycho was 31, the original. But Spirited Away came in at number 75, which is pretty awesome. And Totoro made it. It's number 72. So
what was number one?
Number one was a movie called Jean Dielman's, oh my God, 23 Quai du Commerce, 1080 Bruxelles, 1975 film from Belgium and France. I don't know why you made me do that, but anyway, it's just exciting. It's just exciting that there are, anime films on this list because it's clearly a very hoity-toity, artsy-fartsy. Like, there's not going to be any. The Terminator is not on here. There's no Marvel. There's no Pulp Fiction.
The number one movie is one that maybe 2% of the population has ever heard of.
Like Pulp Fiction, not even on this. Not even in here. So they didn't think it was
I've never
worth
seen Pulp Fiction.
I mean, it's a good movie, but I mean, a lot of people think Pulp Fiction is a great movie, but not good enough for this list. So if you want to check it out, you can go over to bfi.org.uk. You can find the list on there, and it's just exciting to see anime getting some rep. So, I just wanted to throw that out there. It's pretty exciting. I was surprised. I don't think Totoro is the best Ghibli movie, so I'm kind of surprised that's the one that made it highest. But to me, Totoro's like, maybe number 7 or 8.
What do you think should have been on the list instead?
Well, I for sure think Princess Mononoke is a better movie than Totoro.
I mean, that's what I was thinking too.
And I think that Grave of the Fireflies is a better movie than Totoro. See, Grave of the Fireflies is the kind of movie I expect to see on this list because it's a take on war and it's loosely based on real the real types of events that happened, and it's a commentary on history, and it's sad and thoughtful. So I kind of thought that would be a little bit higher, but it didn't make it. So
well, I've never seen Grave of the Fireflies, so that's the first jelly bean of the day.
You should watch that, but you'll cry. It's very sad.
I know. I don't know if I can prepare my heart for it.
What do you have, Caroline?
Sorry, I'm chewing, even though it's my turn. Mm-hmm.
Mason, what do you
Yeah,
have?
Mason, do you want to go first?
I certainly can. I was about to say, oh, you need another jelly bean for not saying Pulp Fiction, but I guess it's
No,
not
it's just
technically an
anime.
anime. But it is anime-esque. It is a very anime-esque film. My big news of the week is a new anime announcement, tentatively called Project Bullet/Bullet. It's a new series directed and created by Sung-Hoo Park, who did Jujutsu Kaisen and God of High School, who allegedly spent over a decade creating the story for this original series, and that's interesting. We've often seen him as a director role, and I'm curious to see what he can come up with from a project. I love original anime. I'm a big fan of it, and it will be done by his studio, E&H Production, which hasn't done much. And by that, I mean they announced another anime that we're going to do back in May that was like a collab with Adult Swim called Ninja Kamui, which has not come out yet. So I have no idea the quality of this. I don't know what we're getting, but it is another show, and anything that people spend a long time on can't be the worst thing ever, right? Isn't that what happened to Duke Nukem? They spent a long time, so it can't be bad.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that, but
Oh my God.
fans of those series and his directing style, which is very flashy and cool, should be excited. I also have a little mini big news as we have the results of our Thanksgiving poll winner.
Oh, wow.
May remember a couple episodes ago, we tried to say which anime genres represent different parts of the Thanksgiving meal. Long story short, I won. I had the most agreement with the voters, and that's all you need to know to make up for my crushing defeat in our presidential poll. Interesting thing, both pumpkin pie and sweet potatoes, there was a completely even split amongst like 8 or 9 different options. No one could decide what genre those two food dishes were because they're just so all over the place. The one, though, that none of us picked and almost had the most commanding victory was the winner of gravy, which was
What?
ecchi.
Oh.
Everyone thought ecchi
Oh.
would be great for gravy, and as someone wrote,
Is it
uh,
because, gravy sexies up anything?
so this is what someone wrote in the comments. Some people like to douse their plate in gravy. Some just want a little here and there. There's amazing gravy and trash gravy. Also, come on, gravy kind of looks like wink wink. So I think our
Oh,
listeners
God.
make a good point there. So ecchi is gravy, and that's all you need to know.
Wow, that is definitely something we needed to know. Thank you, everyone who participated in that poll. And we'll come out with another poll in the future, but I don't know when. Okay, so now that I have consumed my jelly bean, let's get into my news, which is about the Super Mario Brothers movie. The second trailer revealed the Japanese dub cast, which is funny because typically we would talk about English dubs on this show, but here we are talking about a movie that's being made in English, and we'll be getting a Japanese dub. So the cast members are Mamoru Miyano as Mario, and you might know him as Light Yagami, Tatsumi Kotaro from Zombieland Saga, and hundreds of other roles. We also have Arisa Shida playing Peach, and she played Amanda in Little Witch Academia. We have Tatsuku Hatana as Luigi, who played Reki in Skate the Affinity, and Kaminari Deki from My Hero Academia. We have Kenta Miyake as Bowser, who played All Might from My Hero Academia, also Scar from FMAB. And we have Toad, who's being played by Tomokazu Seki, and he played Gilgamesh from the Fate series, and Yotaro from Rakugo Shinju. Obviously, these actors have played more, but those were just a couple that I pointed out. So, with this, I'm honestly more interested in seeing this movie in the Japanese dub with English subtitles than in the original dub. So, yeah, I wonder if I'll actually end up doing that, because seeing Mamoru Miyano play Mario is definitely not something that I expected to happen, but I'm not mad about it.
But now that you've heard it, you're like, I didn't know I wanted this, but
Yeah,
I want it.
because they do have like some really good voice actors in this, and with the English voice actors, they have Chris Pratt.
Who I heard him do his Mario voice, and it is not very Mario-like.
Can we mix and match? Can we get like Miyano for Mario and keep Jack Black as
Yes.
Bowser?
Yes, I mean,
Can we like?
I feel like
Yeah.
Kenta Miyake might be a good Bowser as well, but I would like to see Jack Black as Bowser. So if we could get like a mix
Let's keep Charlie
going.
Day. Let's keep Jack Black. They should have like
I think there's Seth
buttons you
Rogen in
can
there
press.
somewhere
Yeah.
too.
What do you guys expect from this movie? I mean,
I have no idea.
do you think it's going to
Because
be
I
good?
feel like
I mean,
it's not going to be good.
I saw the trailer and it looks just like. I mean, I fully expect that it's going to make like $800 million because it's
Sure.
Mario and mostly because it's animated. That's really why I don't make a lot of money. But because it's like it's going to fit in there with like the Pixar, the Kung Fu Panda crowd, and it's going to make a ton of money. But
Detective Pikachu crossover type, not crossover, but same crowd. I assume both of you are going to see it in theaters.
I'm not really sure.
I don't think I'll see it in theaters, but I don't know. Stranger things have happened.
Someone has to do it, so I don't have. Nose goes.
I don't really have to. I don't really.
Mitsugi has to go in theaters.
I don't.
Sorry.
I don't really
No,
have.
if we can get the Japanese dub with English subtitles, I'd be down to watch it. Totally.
I feel like this movie will be terrible, but it's still going to make $800 million. That's my prediction. I mean, the
It
trailer.
can't be worse than the live action Mario movie.
That is not true. That movie is a classic.
Really?
The one with John Leguizamo. It's one of the greatest films ever
not
made.
on the 100 greatest list
Get the
that we were
fuck
just
out.
talking about.
GTFO. Oh my god. All right. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, the trailer didn't really inspire a lot of confidence because it's mostly just like Mario, like goofing around with fire flowers and.
It could be the next Sonic movie. You have no idea.
Well, I highly doubt that. Mostly because the Sonic movie is not animated. so anyway, we'll see. I'm sure it'll make more money than the Sonic movie. I know that. That's for sure. But
Well, yeah, we shall see. And let's talk
probably
about
see it.
what we have been watching as of late. We have
Oh,
not
boy.
done that, or I haven't done this in a while. So I'm going to be talking about things that I watched months ago because I'm not very good about my extracurricular watching. So my apologies if my list is lackluster.
I'll tell you what. I'll go see the Mario movie just for you guys so we can get that covered.
Well, you lost the nose goes, so.
Well, that's
you
because
kinda-
Don't try to play it off as some martyr. I'll take the bullet for you guys. No, you lost. You
Mason,
have to sit there and like it.
Mason, I'm going to tell you something. When you said nose goes and you touched your finger to your nose as you do, I watched you do it. Caroline was not exactly a dynamo of speed. I could have beaten
No, I
her
was
easily.
not.
I could have beaten her easily.
It took me a second to realize what we were doing.
But I know I will watch this movie on Tuesday at my dinner movie theater as I do, so I'm not really too concerned about it. But I am not going to go first because I have almost no extracurriculars. Although I have been working ahead on our actual podcast anime.
Yeah. I've seen talk a lot about it.
I have not been doing much extra. So I vote we start with Mason because he's got the well. You guys both have a lot. Mason, why don't you go first?
Mason he probably has a better list.
Okay, I shall. Let us start with something that is hot off the presses, coming out just a mere 3 days ago. The final 12 episodes of the total 38. That is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean. Part 6 is now complete. It is all on Netflix. The second part of the second part, if that makes sense, came out December 1st in the US, and I finished watching it, and it was, as with the entire Part 6 series so far, an extremely mixed bag. Part 6 of JoJo, and we're not going to get into any spoilers. Obviously, you can kind of sort of watch it by itself. Obviously, it's better to start off with the earlier parts. It is probably the most up and down in terms of quality. There are some of the most fantastic fights in the entire series. Some awesome powers that just make you say, yes, this is why I come to JoJo. The creativity, the color palette, David production killing it. It looks good. It sounds good. It's big. It's crunchy. It's larger than life. Some of the bad guy of part 6 is phenomenal, and you're just like, this is good eating. We are feasting tonight. And then you get other fights that are just the most drab. David production has no budget. Netflix is ruining their shows. The batch release schedule kind of ruins all the hype and discourse around it. The presentation is flat. It's kind of not a great adaptation of the manga in places, and it's just the worst that JoJo has ever been.
Jeez.
And that's kind of how this season has gone. And I have read the manga, so I knew that I was looking forward to the end. It did not disappoint, but I will say that the road here was rocky. If
Like ice
you're
cream.
looking to get into JoJo, please don't start with part 6. It has some highlights, but it's for fans and people who are already dying the wool. I think if this was my first part, I would be like, I didn't like JoJo very much. And I think at the end of the day, it was a fine adaptation, but definitely a step down from the past couple seasons. So, love Jolene. Excited for part 7 in the 20 years from now when they can finally have horse CG that doesn't look awful. And that's kind of my thoughts of part 6. It was all right at times, but not all that good.
Here's where I am with JoJo. I'm very behind. I'm like somewhere in part 4. I don't know, but Pancake was watching Stone Ocean because she hasn't seen it all, but she's seen all through part 5, so she's more caught up than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And my issue with JoJo right now is that every time there's another installment, the character designs become more and more. They move further and further away from what I'm willing to look at for hours on end. These characters are just ridiculous. Like the green lipstick, the really bizarre hair. Like
You
You
say
said the B
that,
word,
but
not
you
me,
don't
not
have
me.
hair, so you can't comment.
I mean, they're looking a little ridiculous at this point, and
You love pompadours, though.
that's not what I'm talking about. Like when I say I like pompadours, I'm talking about like Takamura from Hajime no Ippo, which is essentially a normal human with just a pompadour. I mean, these characters, they like the main girl here. I guess this is Jolene. I mean, she's got her hair's up in a bun. She's got little braids wrapped around them. She got like 2 different colors of hair, blue eyes, a really huge nose, green lipstick, and like the most bizarre Spider Woman butterfly, neon butterfly like suit I've
She's
ever
Spider-Man.
seen.
She's
Just bizarre.
Spider-Man.
It's just bizarre. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that in the way that I couldn't get very far into One Piece because the characters look ridiculous, I feel the same way about this. I just, I don't know. But I'm sure it's amazing.
It's fine. When part 7 comes out, they dial it back a little bit, and that'll be the part I recommend the most because it's the best. So don't watch part 6, Mitz. It's not going to convince you. Just know that you did say bizarre 3 times when talking about the show, so it's doing something right. It's aptly named.
I didn't even mean to do that.
There you go.
But I mean,
power of suggestion.
It has phenomenal reviews online. I'm sure it's great. So
it's because you're 6 seasons deep. The only people still watching this show are people who love memeing on it, people who love the show, and people who want to know what all the hubbub is about. Like, it's already filtered out the people who were like, it's not really for me, which is fair. I get it, but I was not a big fan of this season.
Caroline, what do you got?
Well, most recently in Anime Club, we watched Yuri on Ice, and I've never seen Yuri on Ice before watching it for Anime Club, which is funny because of how hyped it was when it came out. But that just made me not watch it because I'm like, it's overhyped. It's not for me. It's too popular. It's probably not even that good. And then it swept the Yuri on Ice Awards, otherwise known as the Crunchyroll Awards of that year. So I just never watched it. But I have been I've always been like a little bit interested in it. I'm like thinking there has to be a reason why it's so popular. And yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, I like the characters and the ice skating and, just overall, it was a good watch that I'm glad that we finally voted in to watch. Otherwise, I don't know if I ever would have gotten to it. So yeah, if you have not watched Yuri on Ice already, it's pretty good.
Agreed.
Yeah, I haven't seen it,
you needed my stamp of approval for that.
Hey, no time like the present to validate that, yes, this show actually is not just hype. It is great. It's got great food porn. It's got some butts.
It does. A surprisingly amount of a big amount of food in this show.
Yeah, the only thing I remember about Yuri on Ice was looking at some guy's ass in a hospital.
Oh yeah, that was interesting. Okay,
Episode 1, baby.
That
Start
being
off
said,
strong.
I like the main characters, but the side skaters, apart from maybe 1 or 2 of them, they're just weird. I didn't need to have a full screen of an ice skater grabbing his own butt and then
Yes, you did.
ejaculating on ice.
Don't lie
It
to me.
literally-
That's
it literally
JJ
happened
style,
twice.
baby.
That's half the point. I mean,
I didn't need it to happen once, but it happened twice. And then there was one skater that just had to have a siscon situation. Why do we need that? Why is that something that people feel the need to put in their shows? I don't get it. There are so okay, she could have been like a childhood friend that was his skating partner and he has feelings for her, etc. Yeah, it's bland, but it would have worked just fine. More than having it be your twin sister and you're jealous of any man that gets close to her and you want her back, and it's weird.
okay.
Neat.
Yeah,
Other than
neat.
that, it's great.
Well,
Mason, do you want to go in?
Yeah, I can. Wouldn't JJ fit in perfectly in Skate though?
Oh, he would.
He would.
It's JJ time.
Exactly. That's all I can think of when I think of that show now.
What else?
I-
What else you got? What do you got, Mason?
Completed a show that I have been watching for over a year now. I talked about this show back on the What Have We Been Watching on episode 606. That's forever ago.
Yeah.
I finally completed the 75 episode long Hikaru no Go,
Woo,
Yeah.
good job.
Rock on,
which
brother.
is it's very hard for me to find the time to watch any show outside of what we watch for this podcast, let alone one that is so long. But I've been hearing good things about it. Some good friends of mine are huge fans of it, and it is a long series of a boy named Hikaru who's learning to play Go, and he kind of gets possessed by an ancient Go master who kind of guides him and gets him started in it, and then it becomes kind of a two-part story of Hikaru's development from a kid to a young adult, and it's a progression you don't often see in a long-running shonen show. You get some aging up, but it's often they kind of stay a kid. Like, think about how long Ash has stayed 10 in Pokemon.
Forever.
You're like, wow, he kind of grows up, but not really. Hikaru, he goes from this little pipsqueak to a professional, an adult, and that is an interesting thing to observe. And the deeper story is more of the passing on of knowledge and legacy through generations from this long deceased Go master and kind of his story to Hikaru's and how that transition of legacy goes through. And it's very emotional and touching at times. There are some great moments. It looks pretty good. I don't know a whole lot about Go. I didn't learn a whole lot about Go watching this, but nonetheless, it was fun. It uses the framework of a sports series with rivals and training and all of that to keep you interested, and that alone is enough. A really good cast of characters to make it worth a watch. So if you like not sport shows, but sports adjacent shows, I'll phrase it like that, like Akagi, Kaiji, Chihayafuru, stuff like that. March comes in like a lion with Shogi.
Wait.
Hikaru no Go is a
There are
pretty...
several anime that I have not seen in that list, and I was not paying attention, so I'm just gonna eat 3 jelly beans.
Did you just call Chihayafudu sports adjacent?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too.
I did,
You
because
that on
I'm not trying to
purpose.
have this conversation right now.
But is that an
But,
admission? Are we admitting?
We're admitting that we want to talk about anime and not what is or isn't a sport. Hikaru no Go is a pretty solid show that, if you like any of those, is worth checking out at least for a bit. And I enjoyed it. I mean, I finished 75 episodes. That's saying something. It's not going to be my favorite or anything, but I'm glad I gave it a chance, and you guys might appreciate it as well.
Very well, indeed. I've been meaning to watch that, but I would never do it because it's too long. I don't ever gonna
Yep,
have
pretty
time.
much.
Yeah.
It is one of those where the manga kind of had an unfortunate premature like cancellation type of thing. So the anime did not get to where the manga is, which also itself did not get to an ending, but it did end at a satisfying enough place where I am content where it's at. So it's not one of those you watch 75 episodes and you're like, oh, now I have to read the manga? No, like it ended worthwhile enough. So anyway, Caroline, I'll kick it back to you.
Back to you, Caroline.
Okay. So I managed to finish Miruko-chan, which is something that
Oh,
I did impressions on last year, whenever
yeah.
it came out. I forget. I think it might have been fall season, summer season. Anywho, so Miruko-chan is, for those who don't know, an anime about a girl. I think her name is Miko. I think I can't remember, and she just suddenly discovers she has the ability to see ghosts and spirits and demons and such. And this freaks her the frick out. She is not having a good time. Like because she is employing the strategy of, I can't, if I acknowledge their presence, it's gonna make it worse. It's gonna make them more powerful, and I can't do that. So she, in response, tries her best to keep her, her calm and collected face together, even when they completely jump scare her in the middle of whatever she's doing. She opens up her school locker, boom, there's a face, and it's grotesque. And honestly, this show it does have like an incredible ghost designs compared to a lot of other anime. It does it really well. And so she just tries to go about her daily life and try not to cry because she is so scared. And
That sounds like my everyday life.
yeah,
Try
and
not to cry.
there's a lot of pressure, as just a watcher. You feel so bad for this poor girl because it's rough. She's having a rough time in this life right now. And it just keeps on getting worse for her because then she goes to a temple and she prays for, some protection of some sort, and it does actually help her. But is there a catch? There might be a catch to this protection that she's granted. And also, she has a friend. I think her name's like Hana or something like that. She has massive, massive, massive boobs.
Kyonyu,
I don't know what that means.
massive
But
breasts.
yeah, it's
That's
massive.
what that means.
Her character is Genki, massive boob girl that
Pendulous.
can't stop eating. But she is like part of her, like the whole cannot stop eating thing. As much as I hate it, it does play a part in her character, in which she has this aura that's very powerful, keeps monsters at bay or something like that. And that requires a lot of energy, so she keeps on eating because the more energy she dispels, the more hungry she gets, and etc. etc. Like it's a good show. I'm not gonna lie, but there is an immense amount of ecchi, especially in the probably the first half. It calms down a little bit, but still, it's there. If it wasn't there, that would make this show a million times better. But even so, I really enjoyed it, and there's just a lot of good storylines in this, like just like very heartfelt storylines where you have characters that are mourning their loved ones, or she gets to see spirits of the people that they love kind of following them and protecting them from things. And it's a good heartfelt, it has a lot of heartfelt storylines. It also has a lot of frightening imagery. It's a good mix, especially if you happen to like ecchi, in which this is the show for you. Unfortunately, I don't, so it wasn't
So random. Ecchi and horror. Interesting.
Isn't that a lot of horror anime? They have a bit of ecchi thrown in there.
I mean, there aren't that many horror anime, so I don't know. It's kind of rare.
But I do recommend it. I did fail it back then, but I kind of wish I ended up passing it because it is a pretty good watch.
Okay. Wow. At least you got to watch it.
Yeah. Finally finished it.
Well, I watched one 45-minute episode of the new Spriggan show on Netflix.
Hey, that counts, baby.
That is my contribution to this podcast today. We were laying around on Thanksgiving, and my mom was here, and we were like, well, what are we going to watch? We were just like laying around. I think pretty much everybody was intoxicated. We're like, what are we going to watch? And I'm flipping through. You know what? How about Spriggan? Because I was just flipping through the anime on Netflix, and there is quite a lot of it. And this is a redo, I guess, of the 1998 Spriggan, which came out right around the time that Akira was coming out. And the reason why I say that is because the original Spriggan was directed and pretty much just helmed overall by, not directed, but the producer, script, mechanical designs, and a bunch of other shit were done by Katsuhiro Otomo, who was most prominently the man behind the Akira movie. And I recall that the original Spriggan character designs at times strongly resembled the ones that were in Akira. So to me, I always sort of like link the two together. But this new Spriggan, it looks totally different. So the first one was done by Studio 4 Degrees Centigrade, and this one's done by David Productions. So it's about this in the mountains of. It has a very non-anime plotline. In the mountains of Turkey, a secret organization known as Arkham finds what they think is Noah's Ark, and the U.S. decides that they're going to put together a task force to try to gain control of the Ark as a means of global supremacy, because there's like power in the Ark or whatever. And so Japan puts together this group, this like military group with a Spriggan known as Yu Omanai is his name, who teams up with another Spriggan from France to basically combat the U.S. and try to prevent them from taking over the Ark for their own like political agenda or whatever, world domination. It was okay. I'll say that it looks decent. The action scenes are pretty impressive in this from the one episode I did see. This is definitely like your military action show with a little bit of fantasy superpower type stuff added into it. So like Yuo Manai, he's got like a bodysuit that he's like a cyborg, I guess. I mean, he's got like this, I can't remember what the name of the suit is, but it's like a power suit that he wears that he's like bulletproof. I mean, he's like pretty fucking tough, to kill, I guess. And, and so, kind of like the sorts of things you'd see in Ghost in the Shell. And there's kids with there's people with psychic powers in this. And I think it's maybe worth watching. I don't think it's particularly good. I don't know why they did a sequel, but it might be worth watching if you like action and military campaigns and stuff like that. But, this is definitely very much the same Spriggan that we had a little over 20 years ago. I don't really think it's been improved upon all that much. And but I might keep watching it because it's a hell of a lot longer. So the first one was just a movie, and this is a 6-episode OVA. They're 45 minutes each. So when you compare the run times, this was literally 3 times as long as the original. So there's got to be a lot of stuff in there that wasn't in the original, maybe worth watching. So if you want to watch some action that looks better than most on Netflix, you can check out Spriggan. It's pretty neat. So, but beyond that, it's not like some masterpiece that's gonna blow your face off. It's not that good, but it's something fun to watch.
You love those 6-episode OVAs. Wasn't Area and like Time of Eve? Weren't those both 6 episodes?
Yeah,
I know they weren't.
So it was
they
Golden
weren't
Boy.
like double length like this. What's Golden Boy? Is that Golden Boy 6?
It's 6 episodes. Yeah, this is
What's
technically.
What's the original Bastard?
Oh.
What's Gunsmith Cats? Are those all 6?
3 episodes. Gunsmith Cats
Gunsmith
3
is
episodes.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So this is actually an ONA, whatever the hell that is. I don't know what the difference is.
It just means it wasn't put out on video first. It was put out on the internet.
Okay. It may be worth watching if you like action, guns, martial arts, stuff like that. So, but
Pew,
beyond
pew.
that, if you're in the Mission Impossible type crowd, maybe you'll enjoy Spriggan. So, all right, I think we're back to Mason.
Yeah, I can go in with one that I was very cautiously optimistic about, and is now finally out. Not forever ago, but more recently. The Tatami Time Machine Blues. The long anticipated and kind of surprise and very unnecessary sequel, spin-off, whatever story to one of my favorite of all time, as Mitz has told you in the past, the Tommy Galaxy. It's the GOAT. It's one of my favorites. And this is it's a 6-episode thing, but it's really 5 episodes and then a bonus episode. So it's really a 5-episode side story set in the universe of the Tatami Galaxy with essentially the same characters you know and love from that series, which I would recommend watching before this. You can watch this as a standalone, just like with JoJo Part 6, but you're missing so much of the depth and lore and appreciation for how these characters are the way they are that I wouldn't recommend starting there. But the Tatami Time Machine Blues takes place in like a little pocket of the characters from the Tatami Galaxy shooting a movie, finding a time machine, and getting into a fair amount of just general hijinks as they figure out how to use it, what to do it with, how the rules work, how they can fix the mistakes that they inevitably cause by having a time machine, and making sure the universe doesn't like collapse on itself because of paradoxes and quantum theory and all that fun stuff. It's a very light-hearted take on time travel. It's not, I would say, simple, but it is easy to understand. The author, who I love, Tomohiko Morimi, is a great way or great explainer of things that make sense despite them being a little convoluted, and they actually explain it with graphs and stuff pretty well, so it was very easy to understand. It's not as rapid fire dialogue delivery as Tatami Galaxy is known for, so if you're scared about that, I mean, I guess it's a little fast, but it's not too bad. And I just was stunned that it was as good as it was. I love the original. I love that, it was directed by the best director of all time. So we don't need to get into that, Yuasa. But Shingo Natsume did the spin-off, and I'm like, how is he going to do with a different studio, a different work, same characters? Like, it's probably just going to be a pale imitation of something I love. And it actually stood the test of everything. And it was surprisingly phenomenal. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you like Tatami Galaxy at all, this is a must check out. It doesn't add anything new to the story. It's not like required, but it's just more time with these characters that you should love. So I actually really liked it, and it's on Disney Plus, and it's on Hulu, and it's absolutely worth your Tatami time. So check it out.
Tatami time.
I definitely want to watch that at some point, but knowing me, I don't know when that will be. So hopefully soon. Anywho,
I was gonna say last little thing about it is it's one of those things where each episode is as long as it should be. Like, it's not stuck to the 22-minute runtime. So if the episode only has 15 minutes of material, that's how long that is. If this one has 28 minutes, like they essentially, it reads like a movie that they split up well. So please check it out. That's just watch it, Carolyn. Please, for me, do it.
So it's like Game of Thrones. Like, one episode's an hour, then the next one's an hour and 10.
It's sort of, yeah.
Something like that.
But
Okay.
it's it doesn't go to shit.
Yeah, thank God.
Okay, so I shall go again. The other thing that I managed to finish of something that I did not pass for impressions was Shadow's House Season 2.
Oh, okay.
Now, we did review Shadow's House
It was okay.
Season 1. I liked it better than these other two.
Oh, I didn't hate it. What did I give this?
No, I don't
No,
think
you're not
really
wrong.
hated
You
it,
were the
but
most positive, though.
I was the
for
most
sure.
positive about it, but even I could see that there were, some pacing problems. There was like a whole arc that just did not really hit very well, and the villain was not very good. But season 2,
Yeah, I gave it a 2.5.
it definitely improved. Season 2, had a much more interesting storyline to follow. So just to give a little background on what Shadow's House is, it is a show where we have our main character named Emiliko. She is known as a living doll, but she's really a human. I mean, I feel like that's kind of a spoiler that they're actually humans, but really it does not take a rocket scientist to figure it out. So she is basically working as a maid of sorts, but also a face for the Shadows family, which are a quote-unquote noble family that live in this mansion, and they are quite literally shadows. Like, they are just figures, pitch black, wearing the most beautiful fashions, I have to say. And they are complete one-to-one silhouettes of their living doll. So Emiliko's master is Kate. They have very different personalities. Kate is, pretty, more on the serious side. Emiliko is very genki. And so ensues their relationship and the secrets of the Shadow's house, the other living dolls, their other masters, and so on and so forth. So season 2 kind of goes more into the secrets and the politics, I guess you could call it, of the house, their interpersonal matters and the process of life there, I guess you can consider it. I'm just trying my best not to spoil it, but it is a lot more interesting. Milko is a lot less annoying, I feel like. And there's this there's this one scene in particular which I just loved. It takes place like on the rooftop between Milko and her friend Sean. Yeah, I got the names mixed up, I think. Yeah, he's the
It's
boy
so random.
living doll. No, but his master's name is John, and how it usually goes is that the master's name is whatever, and their living doll is kind of like a spin-off of that, usually rhyming. So we got Master John and Sean. And so she's talking to Sean, and they're considering, as I mentioned, they believe that are actually humans, what their lives were like before they were brought into the Shadows House, because they don't remember. And so their theory is that the names of the masters are actually what their original names were in their real life. So they just kind of come up with these situations like, oh, I think I was living in this kind of house and doing this kind of job and had this kind of family, and they call each other by their masters' names, which they believe to be their own. And it was just a very nice scene. And, the show still looks good. If you watched season 1 and you weren't sure about whether or not you wanted to watch season 2, I recommend it because I think it does things a little bit better and in a little more interesting way.
So you gave season 1 a 3.5.
Yeah.
What would you give season 2?
I think okay, so I don't know if season 2 if I would give that a 4. Like it's a possibility.
Ooh, wow.
I don't know, but I think season 1 is actually more of a 3. Season 2 is more of a 3.5 if I were to rescore.
It sounds like you're saying that season 2 is really fulfilling the potential that I think we all saw with season 1, and it's just less suspect to some of the things that we were like kind of iffy on. So that's good. At least
in my opinion, I was also more positive on season 1 than others. So I think
I was more disappointed with season 1 because of I liked the world, I liked the setup, and I just thought it squandered it versus something that was inherently just kind of bland to me. So it was more of oh, it had something, and I didn't like how it was executed versus. So that's good. Maybe I'll check it out. Maybe, probably not, but I'll maybe.
Regardless, I'm looking forward to season 3 whenever that comes out, if it comes out.
That was going to be my next question, so maybe I just wait, see how that goes.
All right, I think it's back to Mason.
Oh, okay. I'll do one more real quick.
You're running out here. You only got 2 more.
I know, but I think we'll have a lot to talk about later, and I can put some of this in the back. I will talk about a show that I watched because I was doing an impression of the now beloved show. People love it. Bocchi the Rock. People seem to be finally like, yeah, the show's really good. Check it out. When I was prepping for that show, I saw a show that was kind of recommended in the similar vein called Comic Girls, which is a story of 4 cute moe, I'll say it outright, moe girls that go into a mangaka dormitory to just draw manga and kind of be around other artists and just gain inspiration and confidence and skills from one another so that they can make their own mangaka and own manga. You have the one who draws moe, you have the one that draws shonen, you have the one that draws ecchi, you have the one that draws romance, and these 4 girls kind of just become a little crew of friends, and you just see them bounce around their daily lives, and it's actually pretty good. It's not going to change anyone's mind. If you don't like moe, this isn't going to persuade you. It is kind of in the cute girls doing cute things camp, but it's still a little educational, kind of got a foot in otaku culture, kind of like New Game, but also it's not as perverse in some ways in how they draw the characters together. And it's just a really solid show. It's got good comedy, and for a slice of life moe show, has actually a very solid ending that is not just, and they continued to live their lives, which it is, but it's better than the normal. So Comic Girls, if you're really enjoying Bocchi and want something maybe not quite as good, but a similar flavor, I would recommend it. It's not as good as an Azokin or something like that, but I enjoyed it a whole heck of a lot and thought it was pretty cute and funny at times. So that's a surprise. And it's also on Crunchyroll.
All right. And
As you light up your Mega Man statue, is
Yeah,
that?
I changed my Mega Man battery. Look at that thing. Look at that. Look
Wait,
at that.
I don't think I've seen this yet.
Well,
I can't really see it because
my
of the glare.
camera can't even handle it. It's so bright.
It's too powerful.
I know the shape, the outline of it, of Mega Man. That's how I knew. You can't actually see what it looks
so
like.
bright.
It's just a mass of LEDs.
I have this little like little pixel art Mega Man. How do I like display this? It's so bright.
I don't think it's possible.
Sorry for the distraction. I didn't.
Try
Put
covering
it-
that again.
put
Try
it
covering
underneath
it
your
again. I think
shirt.
it was starting to. Oh yeah, now I can see it. Oh,
Well, yeah,
when
if
you
you turn it off,
you
you
can
can
see
see it.
Damn, the
there we
battery's
go.
powerful.
Beautiful.
All right,
Okay.
Caroline. I think you have time for one more.
All right, one last one. Okay. So over the Halloween season, Anime Club, as I shout them out again on our Discord, we watched another, or rather, we discussed another. So I knew it wasn't going to be like fantastic because I actually read the manga I guess long ago. It was like a few years ago. And while I could not remember all of the twists and turns, I do remember there were many, and they were kind of shoehorned in there. And it's a lot of gore just for gore's sake. But yes, we decided that we were going to watch something Halloween-esque, and there are not that many choices that we have not already seen.
How'd you like that umbrella
So-
scene?
I was looking forward to it.
Come on, how does that happen?
I know. It's
really
complete
opened her mind to the
ridiculousness.
possibilities of.
Yeah, it was hilarious because as we were trying to vote on which show to watch, we decided to do like an in Discord vote. And so I wrote up the post saying, if you want to watch, what was it? A Vampire D or I forget what it was called.
Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah. Click on the vampire emoji. If you want to watch another, click on the umbrella emoji.
What is wrong with people? You definitely should have. Definitely should have gone with
Yeah.
Vampire Hunter D.
Well, I do not know what it's about. So that being said, I voted for Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh jeez, man, you guys just
So yeah,
well.
we did not watch Tokyo Ghoul though. We watched another. And if you are not familiar with another, it is a quote-unquote horror anime. You might not find it all that horrific. It's pretty slow in the beginning, especially. And it's basically about this kid who comes to a new school, and he realizes there are some interesting rules in his new class. That of which he is never told what the rules are. He just knows there's rules, and that he's breaking them. And eventually he finds out that the rule is that he cannot talk to this one particular student in the class because they do not exist, quote unquote. But he does talk to them because guess what? They never told him the rules. So obviously he's going to talk to this really weird kid that nobody feels the need to talk to because, you know, he likes her. So that spirals the class into this massive curse that kills everyone. Almost everyone in horrifying ways. One of them involving an umbrella. I won't spoil that for you though. So if you want a not too great series about just kids getting killed in very vicious ways, this might be a decent one for you.
Yeah, it's another is like the horror movie Final Destination.
It is.
It's basically Final Destination, but with like anime high school kids. So.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, well, I will try to watch more extra stuff next time. I've just been trying to catch up on all the things that we're watching for the podcast. I'm actually ahead, so this is pretty surprising.
Yeah.
Mitz
You're
is
talking
like,
about stuff
I
we
could
will
watch
be
something
reviewing for
else.
weeks.
Or I could watch harem shows because that's our next review. And he's like, sign me up, hitting that button.
The harem show that had an abysmal final episode. I mean,
geez.
I mean,
Man, I am so sad. I'm not gonna be here for it.
I mean,
Go ahead.
it was a 5 out of 5 until the final episode, and then it was a 1.
Okay.
And then it was a 1. I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh.
My goodness. Yeah, I had an extra like time for one show before we started this episode. I was like, I should probably start the harem in the Labyrinth of Another World in case you're wondering what we're talking about. I'll watch one episode of that show. I was like, no, I want to go into the show liking anime and feeling good about what I'm doing on this
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
I think if I watched one episode of that, I would just be on here the entire episode, just like
The first 3 episodes were the best
I
3 episodes
gasped.
of that anime for sure. So
Oh, well,
yeah.
I am so ready for it.
Let's get into our in-show weekly trivia question. In honor of AoAshi, where on the field does the fullback position generally play? So give that a thought, and you can answer the question in our little Twitch chat right here if you're watching live, and we'll see you after the news break. Creamy mommy?
Hey, Anime Addicts, Mitsugi's here, and I'm bringing you your anime news break. Getting started off with Japan's yearly manga and light novel ratings for 2022. We're going to find out what the top manga are here from 2022. 5th place, My Hero Academia. 5 million volumes sold. One Piece, 4th place. Wow. 10.3. Spy Family, 10.6. Tokyo Revengers, coming out of nowhere, 11 million. And the top dog of 2022 is Jujutsu Kaisen with 12.3 million copies of manga sold. Next up, Disney and Kodansha are coming into a strategic partnership. Walt Disney Company announced at the Asia Pacific Content Showcase in Singapore that they're going to be partnering with Kodansha. They intend to co-produce and distribute and expand a slate of original titles for Disney Plus. So, more shows going to be held in Disney Plus by the Evil Mouse Empire, marking the relaunch of their strategic collaboration. Disney Plus and Disney Plus Hotstar are going to stream Tokyo Revengers, Seiya Kessen Hen, and the second season of Tokyo Revengers starting in January 2023. Next up, 2 new animes are getting made. Osamu Tezuka's Hi no Tori, or Firebird, is getting an anime in 2023. This based off of the manga. It looks like it's going to be produced by Studio 4 Degrees Centigrade. The title will be called Phoenix Eden 17. Tezuka originally began drawing this fantasy manga in July of 1954 in Manga Shonen, but did not finish due to the magazine's suspension in May 1955. And then it began serializations elsewhere in other magazines. The synopsis from the time immemorial to the age of space colonization, there is one legend that has stayed unchanged in every history book, the tale of the immortal fire bird, the Phoenix, a being whose blood is said to grant eternal life or wisdom. The radiant figure ensures the continuation of sentient life in the universe as it oversees human civilization and their development. So, very interesting story from Osamu Tezuka, and I'm extremely excited to see this made into an anime. Next up and lastly, the light novel Shokushi Cheat ga Saikyo Sugite Isekai no Yatsura ga Marude Aite ni Naranain desu ga. Oh my god. Or, the instant death ability is so overpowered that no one in this world stands a chance against me. A light novel with an almost entirely naked girl on the cover of Volume 13 is being made into an anime adaptation. You guessed it, an isekai, of course. J Novel Club licensed the light novel and manga digitally in July 2020. It's got the 12th light novel volume went on sale this past November 30th. And so there is quite a lot of content out there, some cute girl characters, and, you guessed it, a black-haired protagonist. So look out for my instant death ability is so overpowered, no one in this world stands a chance against me, coming out sometime, I can only imagine, next year. This is Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break, and now time to get back to the podcast.
What in the anime hell is this? The podcast is launching an Amazon affiliates page. This better not be some scam.
This is the Pope.
Yo, Pope. This is Anime Satan. What's this I hear about an Amazon affiliates page?
Oh, hey, Mr. S. Well, when people buy things off Amazon, if they use these links, the podcast receives earnings. It might help us fund our podcast merchandise store, buy Caroline jelly beans, or even...
Conquer the world?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, can I buy Moe Girl anime figures for my secret collection?
We do have links to anime figures.
Ooh, goody. How about Pocky? Satan loves Pocky.
We have links to Pocky and Japanese canned coffee, too.
Okay. How about...
Why don't you just go visit the website, www.supporttheaddicts.com, and see what all we have.
Sure, why not? I'll head over to www.supporttheaddicts.com just for you, Pope. Say, when are you coming down for a visit? Let's do tea.
Soon, Anime Satan. Very soon. Remember, before you go to Amazon to shop, don't forget to stop at www.supporttheaddicts.com.
And now, great moments in Anime Addicts Anonymous history.
What is your video game Mount Rushmore? I would say Mega Man. Mega Man deserves to be on this list.
Nowhere near the Mount Rushmore.
Are you serious?
I'm 100% serious.
Are you kidding?
I mean, yes, Mega Man has some great games, but who? Are you kidding me?
Dude,
Mega
you
Man
are out of your mind,
on the
man.
Mount Rushmore?
You're crazy. You're going to put Master Chief that hasn't contributed anything to gaming, and you're going to knock out... And you're going to knock out Mega Man, which basically solidified Capcom as a game company.
And where are they now?
One of the biggest video game companies in the world, responsible for Resident Evil, 1,000 arcade machines.
When was the last?
Oh my God!
When was the last good Resident Evil?
I can't believe it.
Hasn't Capcom stopped making video games?
No, I would argue absolutely 100%, without a doubt, that Sonic the Hedgehog, who basically founded Sega himself, is more important than Master Chief.
And he fell off a cliff just like Mega Man.
But that doesn't matter. He created an entire company. Without Sega, you wouldn't have the Genesis, the Dreamcast.
Who cares about the Dreamcast? That system was...
Dude, Sega Corp is a gigantic company that makes like half of Japan's arcades.
BCom says, where is Sega now?
Making billions and billions of yen.
In the video game industry?
Yes!
In the video game industry.
Dude, you're nuts,
What video
man.
games are they making?
They make tons of video... Dude,
What video games?
You're only
What's a big Sega video game right now?
Dude,
What's a big game?
I need you to calm
I'm
down
just
so I
asking you
can
a question.
talk.
I just want to know.
And now, back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. When we left you, we had an intro trivia question for you in honor of our review today, AoAshi. Where on the field does the fullback position generally play? It's a Frieza's theme song from Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball Z. In soccer, a fullback is a type of defender whose main responsibility is to play defense on the outer edge of the field. Though they typically play out on the edges, fullbacks can protect the center as well if there is a gap in coverage. There you go. So they play defense on the outside. And if you support the podcast, you can do that at AAApodcast.com/join or Patreon. You're going to get our exclusive RSS feed, as you may know, that will give you access to our hentai episodes, our Hobby Addicts episodes, and our after parties. 8 extra podcasts per month on your favorite mobile apps such as Pocket Casts, Podcast Addict, etc. And it is password protected, so only the people that are supporting the podcast through AAApodcast.com/join or Patreon get that. So if you head over there, we will hook you up, people. Lots of extra content. Mason and I are going to be going over our November hentai reviews and taking a look at what's in store for December and our hentai episodes just after the podcast today. So, it's time for Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? And I see we have a very brave contestant who is, I'm sure, trying to do better than the other mainstay in the Betting Degenerates channel, Lady Emery. So why don't we bring her in and we will get it started. It's time for Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? The game show that pits Mitsugi's unassuming mother against anime's most basic questions. Now here are your hosts, the Anime Addicts. Whoa! It's time for Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? The game show where my mother, she's unpredictable, And she knows some things about anime, but not what you might expect. We have a contestant on the line today. Who is our contestant and where are you calling from?
It's me, Lady Emery, from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Minnesota, don't you know?
Now,
Don't Mitsugi's mom know.
whoa. So in the Betting Degenerates channel on the Discord, of which you are the pit boss, there was a bet previously that Raggedy Doctor would win. Does Mitsugi's mom know? As we all know already, he failed miserably. So is there also a bet in store for you today on the podcast?
There is. So we have Raggedy Doctor and Big Damn Hero that bet that I will win. Good luck to them, because your mom is chaos in a human, so I do not know what to expect. And they are going up against Cador and ZT, and they believe I will lose. And whoever loses will donate $20 to the podcast.
I love to hear it. So, and if you also would like to participate both in Does Mitsugi's Mom Know or in this Betting Degenerates, as you can see, it's very involved. Again, I've pumped it a lot today. Brand new URL, AAADiscord.com, takes you straight to our Discord. No questions asked. It's free and unbelievably easy to join. So, Lady Emery, you know the rules, but you have to guess whether or not my mother knows the answers to these questions I'm about to lay down for you. And if you get 3 out of 5 right, you will win a fantastic prize. It'll probably be a Bugatti Veyron or an Audi R8 or something like that. But then again, it might just be jelly beans for you. So, do you have any questions? Are you ready to play?
I'm ready to play.
All right. Well, we are very honored to have you on the podcast finally as a rising star in our community on the Discord. So let's get this started.
Good luck, lucky player. With me, it's you never know.
We just finished watching episode 1 of the Spriggan series on Netflix over the Thanksgiving holiday. What is the main character's name?
Ooh.
She watched it with me, but
she was also drunk. Like,
wow.
We gotta take that into account. I'm gonna say.
Oh, Betsy.
I'm gonna say she does not know.
What is the name of the character?
His name is
What
Yu
if I know?
Omenae.
Does she have to get the full name?
I don't want to give too many details here. You know what I'm saying? So, Lady Emery, you said she does not know. So
She does not know.
Okay, am I locking you in?
Lock me in.
Best of luck. We just finished watching episode 1 of the Spriggan series on Netflix over the Thanksgiving holiday. What is the main character's name?
Ellie.
Actually, the main character's name is Yu Omenae. So you were close. She said Ellie, so I don't know what, yeah. Wow, all right. So let me see here. Let's see. We got a question. Oh, they love it. They love it. You are already doing better than Raggedy Doctor, who was swept out of the room. So,
And he actually studied, which I find so sad. Like, he did so much work, and it was all for nothing.
It's pretty rough. So, are you ready for your second question?
Sure am.
Fill in the blank with this anime title. My blank Academia. We all know what that is, but does my mother know current shonen? Oh, it's up to you.
We all know the answer is Boku.
Boku, yeah.
R.I.P. in peace.
You know what? I'm gonna give it to her. I'll say she knows this one.
All right, she knows that it's My Hero Academia.
Academia. Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll lock you in for you. Here we go. Fill in the blank with this anime title. My blank Academia.
Hero.
Oh wow,
Yes!
good job.
I was not expecting her to get it.
There you go. All right, 2 for 2. Wow, I've seen people fail though in this scenario, so
I know.
Let's do this.
I should say just by flipping a coin, you have like an 88% chance of winning at this point. So you should feel good.
But the chances are never in the player's favor, Mitsugi.
Okay, well, don't jinx her. Are you ready for your third?
We're taking too much time. Keep the momentum going. Just go.
Are you ready for your third question?
I'm ready.
Anybody who listens to this podcast knows that Attack on Titan is the favorite anime of which of the AAA podcast hosts? Caroline's laughing. We all know it's Caroline.
Yes. I think she does not know this. I'm going to call my shot. I think she's going to guess Mason.
Wow.
Interesting strategy.
We'll see.
Because I feel like out of, like, the first question you asked her, it's like, what's the name of this character? That could be anything. She automatically has a 1 in 3 shot of getting this one right.
But she literally just watched that show last week. And
We often talk about how much we say, I'm not playing the game. I'm not playing the game. Don't listen to me.
All right. So, not only does she not think it's Caroline, she thinks it's Mason, in fact.
Yeah.
Are you sticking with your guns? Is that what you want to go with?
Usually when you say that I'm wrong, or the person's wrong, but I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to go with it.
All right, here we go. Anybody who listens to this podcast knows that Attack on Titan is the favorite anime of which of the AAA podcast hosts?
Oh, well, that has to be Mason.
No, I'm sorry. It's Caroline. She made it look so easy. She just walked in here,
swept it!
laid her big balls on the table, and said, "Fuck you, Mom."
There should have been a clause in the bet, like if you go 3-0, the winners are doubled, or if you go 0-3, the losers are doubled. You know? But man, congrats!
Thank you.
Congratulations, you are a fantastic. I'm not sure if anybody's ever swept and winning on this show. That could be a first. I don't have a record of this, but in any event, wow! I will be contacting you after the show to allow you to claim your amazing prize. I can't remember who won or lost the bet, but sucks to be them or whatever. And thanks for being such a new and prominent member of our community. We are very happy to have you, and you've made our podcast better today. So I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you, and thank you for all you guys do. I know you guys put in a lot of hours into this, and yes, please, anyone listening, join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. It's a lovely community.
And join the Degenerates, in which Lady Emery is your overlord.
Yes, please.
All right, goodbye, Lady Emery.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye! How exciting.
Easy sweep.
I know.
Easy sweep. Now, we have more questions.
According to Raggedy Doctor in the Twitch chat, who, as we mentioned, was on the show, studied hard for Does Mitsugi's Mom Know and completely failed. He knows from his studying that there has been a sweep once before.
Oh.
So.
Wow, okay.
But we don't know who.
Would you guys...
And he also says that he has been avenged, so I think he's happy.
would you two like to play the other two questions?
Sure, but I don't think I can do nearly as well as Emery.
No, nobody.
This shonen anime mainstay is named after what common kitchen cleaning product?
What? I didn't even understand the question.
There's a shonen anime that is named after a common kitchen cleaning product. What is that anime called?
Bleach. But I don't think that she'll be able to think of it if I couldn't think of it.
What do you think, Mason?
I'm with Caroline on this one.
This shonen anime mainstay is named after what common kitchen cleaning product?
Comet.
Oh, that's not right. Good job. You guys nailed that one. Wow, we're 4 for 4. Here's the last question. Which of the following anime does not contain mecha robots? Cowboy Bebop, Code Geass, Big O, or Giant Gorg?
Even I am not certain on that one, because there are anime that I'm not familiar with.
I think she gets it.
The answer is Cowboy Bebop.
Oh.
There's a lot of like jets and planes and shit, but there's no mechas. Mason said yes. Caroline?
I say yes. And while she debates,
I don't think she'll get it.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Which of the following anime does not contain mecha robots? Cowboy Bebop, Code Geass, Big O, or Giant Gorg?
Cowboy Bebop.
That's right. There you go. She got that one right.
To
So
be
she
fair, Comet is as close as you can get to Bleach, almost, without saying Bleach.
Well, that was actually her follow-up comment, was that like they're almost the same, but I said
Yeah.
tough toenails. That's not what I was looking for. Comet, not a terrible guess though. I could see a shonen anime being named Comet.
I've completely neglected my jelly bean eating again. I forgot.
Yeah, you might as well just shove your face because you're probably behind by like 10. Maybe not. All right, it's time for mailbags, guys.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag. All right, if you want to do a mailbag, you can go to aaapodcast.com/mailbag. Leave a mailbag, just like Sajinther did. Who would like to read Sajinther's mailbag?
I'm chewing. Sorry.
I can read it.
I guess it's going to be Mason.
Good day to you, AAA good sirs and or madam. Poor Mitsugi is working overtime trying to raise money for the podcast. If we could give him a rest and hire 3 anime characters to become the Anime Addicts head of marketing, fundraising, and finances, who would you be hiring? No rules, so if you want to get Lelouch to brainwash the entire nation into subscribing, that's your choice. So we need to come up with a character for marketing, fundraising, and finances that will make this podcast some dough. Caroline, are you ready or are you still chewing?
I just took another jelly bean, Mason.
Right,
that's a new
I
challenge, Mitz. You and I are going to talk in an entire podcast and constantly make Caroline have to eat the entire time. It's just going to be nonstop chewing.
So for me, for marketing, I picked Madam President from Golden Boy because, because she's got a great head for finance and great financial assets. Oh, I love her assets.
Oh, yes! My queen!
There you go. She would be great. Also, women seem to have a lot of success in sales, so she would probably be perfect as a person that's in marketing and sales. For fundraising, I selected Haruhi Suzumiya because no one's gonna like get up in your shit and get you to give her money more than Haruhi Suzumiya would. There's no doubt about that. And for finances, I picked the black-haired protagonist from Realist Hero, just in honor of Caroline. He would be great at that. He would be great at that, though. Come on.
But I would want to punch him every day.
Punch him in his face.
I think my favorite thing about this podcast, being on video, has to be the faces that Caroline makes.
Well,
most
I'm glad
of the time
it's amusing
when
to
saying
some.
things. I don't often get to see them when I'm actually podcasting, but I was watching a bit of last week's podcast, and there's just so many great moments of eye rolls and just
of course.
deadpans and just wondering what led her to this path in life, and it brings me joy. So, Caroline,
it's worth regretting.
Who would you hire?
Okay, I really could not think of anyone for fundraising in particular. I just couldn't think of one. But for marketing, I chose Reagan from Mob Psycho 100 because if you know him, he's a con man basically. He just knows how to market very useless things into making people believe that they need them and also get them to thank him for it. So, just some random table salt is apparently going to cleanse people of their demons, and they actually think it works. So I say that is pretty damn good marketing. So yeah, he'll be in charge. And again, fundraising, I did not know. But for finances, I chose Takina from Licorice Recoil because it was something recent that I remembered that she, in that one episode, was really going through the finances of, the cafe and Chisato's inability to be economically smart. So I know she can do it. And she's cute and I love her. So I think that is also a good plus in her box.
Why don't you marry her?
Maybe I will.
Checkmate.
Mason?
So at first I was like, oh, I know an answer to this. We just watched a show not too long ago where they had to do this whole like marketing thing, and I could not remember what it was. It took me like a day, and I was just like, what is the show? I know we just watched. I couldn't think of it. So I didn't put it as my answer, but in the Twitch chat, Smarmy Whiplash said the guy from Reman's Club.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, that's the show I was thinking of.
Yeah.
The marketing, they did it all. As far as my actual answers, for marketing, I went with Griffith from Berserk, because that man can raise an army out of nothing. He can sell kingdom away. He's just making money moves out there. He's a smart dude. He'll get it done. For fundraising, I picked Sayaka Kanamori, the tall one from Keep Your Hands Off Azokin, because she's good with money, but she can also talk people, you know? And finally, the first answer for finances was Kobayashi from Miss Kobayashi, just because she's just a very sensible person. She's good with numbers, good head on her shoulders. But I had to go with Yoga from See, The Money of Soul and Possibilities, which is a whole weird like economics action show, which is something that probably shouldn't ever exist again. But the fact that it does is kind of cool. So if you haven't watched that, don't. But it's kind of it's all right. So that's all we got. So thank you, Sujinther, for the mailbag. And let's truck on over to our review.
Okay, well, we're going to be doing a review of AoAshi today. The what was this? The spring 2022 anime. This is one of our last ones from spring. So, but this was also it was 24 episodes, so it took a while for it to wrap up. Yeah, but it is now wrapped up wrapped up at the end of September, so it's been in the waiting list for a little bit here. But I passed this show on episode 625. Or did I take it from Caroline?
Oh, yeah. So it was originally on my list of things to, be impressed upon. I watched a few episodes. I thought it was generally okay, but it wasn't really for me. And there were a couple hangups I had about it. But I knew that you were struggling to find anything of decency in your own list. So, and I figured that this was something that you would like a lot more. So I recommended it to you to take.
Mitz is full of indecentness.
Yeah, of course, all the time. Yeah, but I am wearing pants right now, but they're pajama pants. So I don't want to disappoint anybody, but that is the truth. AoAshi, the English title, it basically just means like blue foot. I don't know. Is on Crunchyroll. I watched it on Verve. They've got a dub on there and a subtitle, so you can watch it. In a rural town, the spotlight of a junior high school soccer team rests on one player, Ashito Aoi. I guess the title of the show is kind of his name. Known for his unpredictable moves and self-centered playing style, Ashito is the sole powerhouse pushing his team through an important high school tournament. However, the win streak is short-lived. An opponent causes Ashito to lose his temper and act violently, resulting in his removal from the rest of the game. I recall that the other player talks shit on his mom, and he just headbutts him, which reminded me of Zinedine Zidane from France in the World Cup that one year, where he just headbutted that guy in the chest. It was crazy. Without their star player, the team quickly gets eliminated from the tournament. Just as he believes all hope is lost, he gets approached by a youth team coach named Fukuda, who senses potential in him, and Fukuda invites him for tryouts in Tokyo. In an unfamiliar setting surrounded by talent, Ashito must bring out the best of his ability to prove himself and secure what could be a life-changing career. That coming from my anime list. And then after that, it basically follows him through a lot of doubt and uncertainty about his ability, and growing and evolving as a player, and just trying to make his way and survive in this very prestigious team of Esperion, as it's called. Director Akira Sato, who also directed Release the Spice, which I didn't see, and done by Production IG, who has a pedigree of doing sports anime, as I think that they were the production studio of Haikyuu and Kuroko no Basket both. Could be wrong about Kuroko, but I'm pretty sure. And this is based on a manga. So now going into this, we'll start with Mason, because Caroline is chomping down. Mason, what were your expectations on AoAshi?
I had heard many good things about this show. People also expressed a interest in hearing how it compared to Blue Lock, a recently started up soccer show. So I was like, okay, Blue Lock is a little off the wall, a little crazier, a little more extreme, if you will. So I was expecting, in contrast, something a bit more grounded and realistic, with it being a mix of giant killing and Haikyuu, obviously being done by Production IG as well. So I had high hopes for this one.
And I should note that there is a bet on the Discord as well about whether or not AoAshi or Blue Lock will end up with a higher review. Currently, AoAshi has 0.05 of a point higher. They're almost exactly the same.
If Blue Lock tanks.
So, Caroline, what were your expectations?
So, as I mentioned, the backstory, I wasn't really feeling the show as much as the other shows that were coming out in the same season. And I was really just annoyed with Ashito. Just, his character, he's, loud and annoying and full of himself, especially in the beginning. And his voice was extremely grating. So he was a big deter of me wanting to give it a pass. And honestly, I'm not huge on sports anime. Not because I specifically don't like them, it's just I don't really watch a lot of them. So I just figured it wasn't worth passing over some of the other shows that season. And besides, I knew that Mitsugi's list was a little bit lacking, so I figured it's decent enough to recommend to somebody else, and maybe if it gets passed, it wouldn't be a bad watch.
For me, I had almost been keeping up with this weekly. I was pretty much on episode 17 or so, I think, at the start of this week. So I'd already seen most of it, and I already knew pretty much everything I was going to know about it, pretty much. And so now the important part, we'll start with Caroline again, because we tried with Caroline the first time. Caroline, would you recommend AoAshi?
I actually would recommend it, because even though the first few episodes for me were not, super promising in particular to me, I actually found it pretty interesting going forward and enjoyable. It does have a lot of good hype moments. It's a pretty good shonen in that aspect. I think the second half was a great improvement on the first half. There was like this little plot twist that kind of set that in motion, and I think it was effective. Ashito, still kind of annoying and voice grating, but he did get better in the second half, and there's a pretty large cast with some other good characters that helped even that out a bit. And overall, I think it was pretty good. If you like soccer, I think you'll enjoy this, and I'm sure Mitsugi will have more thoughts on the specifics on how they play soccer and how that was, a plus for them. I don't really know too much about soccer myself, so I can't speak on that. But yeah, I'd say watch it.
Mason, would you recommend AoAshi?
I'm glad you went to Caroline first, because I think most people will like AoAshi. And if you like soccer, this is probably one of the better representations of the sport in anime, no question. That said, this show made me angry. From the story beats to the characters, from the plot to the dialogue, this was a all-right sports show that was just buried in a mountain of the worst writing I've experienced in a while.
Well, you weren't here last week.
True.
When we watched Black Summoner.
That's probably true, but another show being bad doesn't make this show better. Like, I was physically nauseated by how juvenile this show was. And over 24 episodes, this was a cauldron of mediocre production values, ham-fisted drama, archetypal, textbook, paint-by-number shonen that just went on. And I can't in good conscience recommend this to people who are looking for a decent anime that does anything more than the bare minimum. I did not enjoy this show. But I get, if you like soccer, you don't have many other options, so yeah, oof.
For me, I absolutely recommend this anime. I mean, obviously, if your friend down the street or whatever doesn't like sports, then no, you can't really recommend AoAshi because it is a sports anime. So of course there is it's not like it's a show for everybody, but there aren't. So I asked a question on the Discord earlier today. I said, what does Hajime no Ippo, Major, Slam Dunk, and there were a couple others, all have in common with AoAshi? And the answer was that there aren't that many sports anime that cover their sport in such intimate and minute detail as AoAshi does. If you're like an absolute junkie for soccer and you just you play soccer, you love it, this anime deep dives into the sport. I mean, it's not a sports anime that's got like superpowers in it. It's not like a Kuroko no Basuke. But everything from turning your head before you receive a pass to gain awareness of like what's happening on the field, to manipulating the field by your own movements, to gap coverage on defense. This anime just absolutely deep dives into strategy and mechanics of soccer. We'll get more to that later. Also, this anime I thought did a good job displaying soccer itself with all of its moving pieces in a way that maintains the coherence for the viewer. So I've said before that I often thought that baseball was the best sport to be made into an anime, and I still think that. But the reason I say that is because baseball is very focused on the pitcher and the batter. It's very easy to show the sport happening because when there's so many things happening on the court or the field at once, it's hard to keep track of where everybody is and what's happening everywhere at once. But I feel like this anime did a pretty good job with that. I never once thought like, oh, I'm lost. I don't understand where people are or what's going on. I thought it did a really, really, really great job with that. Furthermore, this anime has no superpowers in it. Ashito's power is basically like field awareness, and having like good vision of what's happening. It's not any different than like what a quarterback in football would have, where he can like scan the field in a second and figure out like where the players are. If you had some kind of superpower that fundamentally changed the way that the sport was played, the way that like Kuroko no Basket does, then you'd never have a real conversation about like how to properly play soccer, because it would be warped and deformed at that point. I got more romance out of this show than I bargained for, which was a huge plus. And probably the biggest thing in this show that I thought was very commendable was, as Caroline put it, Ashito was not a great character at the start. He was kind of loud, selfish, I don't know, just like self-centered and arrogant. But by the end of the anime, I really felt that he was humbler, quieter, and more thoughtful and more of a leader on his team than anything else. And honestly, wasn't screaming a whole lot by like the second half. So I really appreciated that they, gave him enough of an like an upgrade or whatever you want, his character growth or whatnot. And so yeah, I'd recommend it if you like sports, or even if you're not like a soccer sports fan, if you just like sports, it might be good for you. So that being said, let's jump in to spoilers.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god.
Let's see. Mason said that the show had bad writing. So why don't we start with that?
I guess from a straight plot setup, pretty much every moment in the show comes through exposition of overheard situations. Whether his mom is standing outside the door, listening in. Whether Ashito is underneath a window, listening in. Whether they're in the bushes, listening in. It's all just characters conveniently being exactly where they need to be. They hear all the conversation happening, and then using that information. A lot of every bad character in the show was just people calling Aoi trash nonstop in the exact same way by multiple characters. And it's just a very predictable story beats, if not flat out revealed by the show. For example, Aoi was having trouble, I think they call it like killing it, where he does a really hard strike of the ball and then controlling it. And character will be like, hey, you should ask Togashi to help you practice. He's good at that. And then the next scene is Togashi saying, hey, Aoi, I'll help you practice. And it's just very much like telling. It was like reading a Wikipedia article where it was just trying to get you from one plot point to the next. But there was no nuance, and it was just so. It was like I was trying to explain it to you rather than a cohesive, realistic story of finding out who to talk to, figuring out how to talk things. And for a show that's constantly having its coaches say, oh, we can't give them the answers. It's better if they figure it out themselves. The show does not play by the same rules and tells you everything foremost and holds your hand the entire way. And I found that unbelievably aggravating.
Oh, and on that note, because that is actually one of the things that I did not like about the show, is that they kept on doing that. Like, they said, this is your new assignment, Ashito. You have to figure this thing out. And then he is, like, wasting time. He spent days practicing this one skill But he doesn't get it because he's not being taught the right way, and they're just expecting him to figure it out on his own, which I understand is a strategy to help somebody understand how to do something, is to let them figure it out themselves. But he's on a time crunch, like, can you give him a little bit of direction? And finally, like, I think one of the coaches does give him a direction of some sort, and he gets it. I'm like, okay, that was enough. Stop wasting his time. And then, so once, okay, whatever. But they keep on doing this. And it's like he's in some sort of, escape room trying to figure out all these puzzles when really the coaches could just be coaching him and not try to give him the puzzle of the week to figure out.
Okay, that's a great place to start. Somebody mentioned Aoi's mother, and I wanted to bring her up as a candidate for greatest anime mom ever. And Caroline made a comment a couple weeks ago about like what happens to these kids if they just like don't make it, because they're basically like giving up school sort of to go play soccer, because high school is not required in Japan. You can definitely not go, and you're right. If you go take a chance on soccer and you go and you fail, I mean, I'm sure you can go get like your GED or whatever, and go to college, whatever. But you really are giving up high school and maybe fucking up your future. But like Aoi's mom, like, let him go. He and his brother, his mom and the brother gave him a bunch of money so he could like make it to Tokyo, and then his mother, whose name's Noriko, like it was like episode 3 or 4 where he read the letter on the train with the new shoe, with the soccer shoes that like they really couldn't afford, but she scraped together the money anyway to buy the shoes, and like he was crying or whatever, and it was just like a really emotional, great scene that definitely was one of the scenes that locked it in for me, that like I was going to take this one and pass it, because and his mom kind of disappears like maybe around episode 12, like she doesn't really come back this season, but what do you guys think? Great mom?
Yeah, she's good. I still personally would go with Sachiko Fujiyama from Erased as Anime's best mom, but that's just me.
That's your go-to, though.
How about the mom from Gundam Build Fighters? Because she had like the sweetest booty.
You just keep on giving me.
I mean,
okay,
it was just
so maybe
like,
2
delicious.
jelly beans, one for the anime and one for lewdness.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we're making up for last week. You were a little light last week. I took it easy on you, but the sweet booty just strapped in. All right.
Sweet release of death.
Yeah. Other questions that I want to throw out there. How did you guys? I really enjoyed the end of the season. That was the best part for me. One of the best parts. There were a couple things that really hit hard for me. One was the villain, whose name I'm trying to find here. Kaneda, I think his name was, because we were joking about like Akira. He was such a little fucking prick in this, and he was such a dick in this season.
Yeah, I did not like him.
He was a million times better than the other villains, though.
I mean, he was a good villain, I thought, because I fucking hated him. And he scored that goal in the match, and then when he caused the second goal to happen, and he's just talking shit and being an asshole, I was like, this guy fucking sucks, and I was like desperately not wanting him to score again.
I don't think that's a telling of a good villain, because I think his motivations were stupid.
Well, his motivations
you didn't
were...
get on the team you wanted. Boo-hoo. You blame someone for, I don't know, having one conversation with you. It's like, you tried to be friends with me and that ruined everything. No, you're just a shitty player. That's all.
His reasons aside, I just hated him. Like, I wanted him to fail so badly.
Oh, yeah.
And
but
it was so aggravating.
I did not think he was a good villain.
I thought that the final match against Musashino was about the perfect length. I think 4 episodes for like a major game is a great length and it's a great length.
Well, it helps that they cut out the second half of it.
They definitely showed the second half for about 3/4 of an episode.
Don't they go into halftime? Or no, they come back from half for a bit, and then they do the cutscene where they're all posing happy after the game, and you're like, well, okay, they clearly won, and then they skip the last half of the second half.
I mean, they don't skip it because they go through a strategy change. Musashino does where they pull all their defenders up to prevent them from kicking the long balls over the defense, and which I really enjoyed because that is a viable strategy in soccer. Like if you want to cause an offsides trap, pushing up your defense is a risk because you're leaving your defense so far up the field that you're vulnerable to counterattacks. But because Esperion was just lobbing the ball basically over the defense to try to avoid having to like navigate all the way through the field, in order to stop that from happening, they were causing offsides. So they definitely showed quite a bit in the second half. And also Aoi like manipulated that field so well. The only thing I thought was weird about it with him like moving up the field and being more involved in the attack was that it seems, I'm not a soccer pro, but it seems unconventional to have the fullback move up the field so far. I think they did mention that, but it just seemed a little unconventional that he would be up there like attacking. But
I think it's because they do a 4-back style, which is already pretty unconventional. Like it's more of a 3-3-3 that is like that. It just transitions from a 4-back to a 3.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not wrong, but he was kind of like a false fullback. It was more he was just back there to get the perspective and then move forward. And I agree with you. I would say episodes 10 to 12, and then the last game, the actual episodes where they play soccer, were the best episodes of the series.
I want to talk about Hana a little bit.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
You did not like
Hana? She was treated like garbage.
I love Hana.
I liked Hana.
She was fine. She's treated like garbage though.
She's so great. Like she has this. It's her brother, right? That she's like
her. I guess
stepbrother.
Who's the coach? Is what she's who she's like. Yeah.
Really quick before you get to Hana, what is your opinion of the coach? Good guy or bad guy?
Love him. I fucking love him.
Okay, you missed the point, Caroline.
I liked him, but
he's a terrible person. He's a terrible human being.
Manipulative, yes.
Okay, why is he manipulative?
Because he convinced Ashito to come onto the team as the position that he has always played, and he let him continue playing that position, and then he just outright says, "You will never play forward again. You are now a fullback, a position you've never played, and not in a defensive player in which you hate defense." So I understand the necessity of the situation that he would be better in this role, and he just didn't want to believe it. But that's a dick move, especially when and he did it in the way that he did. It shocked him for an entire episode.
But I don't agree with you though, because this is like a team. This is a farm team for like pro soccer, right? And like life isn't full of cupcakes and horse shit. Like if you're not going to make it as a striker because you just don't have the skill set, then why are you going to like basically the outcome there is that Aoi just fails and drops out of the team and disappears and goes back home. Whereas moving him into defense where the coach knew he had a gift for field vision that also like let him learn a lot about like the sport. Like Aoi said like halfway through, he's like, I can see the field, like I understand what's happening. Like none of that was going to happen unless the coach made him like forced him to make like tough choices and go back there and
but
like
let's
learn
not agree. Let's not disagree on
it
how
was
manipulative
a good coaching
he is.
decision, but he is manipulative.
From telling the coach to like essentially talk down and belittle AoAshi, from himself belittling the intelligence of Hana
close.
Or Ashito. When he talks to like Hana, he's like, "Oh, you don't know anything about soccer, right?" Ha ha ha! Laughs in her face. He wastes time with his selfish request, saying, "Oh, make me food," and then just doesn't eat it. Uses her to curry favor with sponsors. He's just a manipulator. The message here is that all of these like serious youth soccer organizations are led by very morally corrupt and disgusting humans, which is a unique take in anime. But if you got from this, oh, Fukuda's a good guy, everyone's happy working for him, they all want to impress him. No, he is a tragic person who is probably going to turn bad if I had to guess, because he is a not good person. I get that he is a successful coach and that is what he is paid to do. But if you like him as a character, you need to understand that you fell into the trap that everyone else did. And he is a bad person.
I still don't agree, but
okay.
This is not.
And that's fair.
Let's go back to Hana. Go ahead.
I mean, this is not normal youth soccer. So like professional sports teams, coaches will just like, they don't give a fuck. Like, oh, you're hurt, you're cut, goodbye. Like it's just like sports is not really about the player. It's about the team and about winning. Like that's all there is.
Sure. But when he is doing this to his essentially sibling, because I think we all like Hana. She's precious, she's great, she's knowledgeable, she's a hard worker, but he treats her as credibly as everyone else, which is just a sign of how he is.
Well, on that note, let's transition into Hana.
Okay.
So one
Sorry
thing I
for
didn't
the-
quite understand about her is that she wants to be in sports medicine. Great. She is very inspired by her stepbrother and by Ashto, and she's like, that's my favorite player. It's my favorite player. And yet she does not know a single thing about soccer. I feel like that is kind of strange. Like, I get it. Like, if you're not a huge sports fan, or if you're not a huge soccer fan, you might not know about these things. But if you're going to be in sports medicine and you are obsessed with your with the playing of your stepbrother in soccer, you would think you would know a little bit about soccer after several years of being obsessed with it.
So what I think there, I kind of compare Hana to myself with football, like American football. I've seen a ton of football. I've probably watched 1,000 hours of football, at least, probably more. And so I know all the rules. I know the rules. I see the penalties on the field happen, and I know what the refs are going to say, holding, whatever. I can see it happening, whatever. Other people can do it too. But I can't sit there and, like, draw up a play and, like, go into the details of, like, this guy moved this way and this guy moved this way and this is how we made, like, oh, we shifted the defense to the left. Like, I don't have that depth of knowledge.
Yeah, and I feel like that's very in-depth knowledge, but she will like outright say, I do not know a thing about soccer, to basically everyone.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like she does. She just not like at that level. Like, I'm not at that level with football. Like, I can't, I'm not a defensive coordinator that makes $1 million a year because, really I think it's because your ass is on the line every single play in every game. But like, I don't have that depth of knowledge, and I don't think she does either. And you can't really get that knowledge from just watching. I don't think watching soccer gives you, like, in-depth, nitty-gritty, granular detail in knowledge of the sport. But I don't know. Maybe she should have learned more. But then again, you probably don't need to know a lot about soccer to be good at nutrition.
Yeah, and I agree. It's just that she makes it sound like she doesn't know the first thing. But on that note, like, she's great. I also liked Henri. I did not understand why the two apparently, or Hana doesn't like Henri, except for maybe the fact that she's pretty. But Hana's also pretty. And later on, you can kind of see, like, they have the little love triangle going on, so I can kind of see why she wouldn't like Henri at that time. But Henri seems cool. So I'm not
I think it's more of she's just really interested in the intricacies of soccer, and Hana is not. And
that doesn't make any sense, though.
They just probably have different interests. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a very specific thing. I mean, I feel like, yeah, I can see somebody being a little bit more interested in the intricacies of soccer, but not to the point where someone who generally likes soccer and will go to practices and is, a huge fan of their stepbrother who is a soccer player. I don't think that would be something that would be an immediate turnoff for somebody.
Yeah. I don't know.
Henri, like, I loved Hana, and I loved how this season ended. Because Ashito is kind of dense, but he's also, like, a 15-year...
I feel like he's just generally not that interested in focusing on a relationship when he is just focused on soccer.
Exactly.
Which it's, the main thing.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, he's young. He's like 15 or 16. I don't know. How old is he? 15, maybe? He's...
Yeah.
They don't even say on here. I don't know. I'm gonna say he's 15.
15 to 16.
Yeah, I mean he's young and he's laser focused on soccer. I mean they say he's like the hardest worker on the team. He practices for 2 hours every night after everyone else is done, and so he's a little clueless with Hana because he doesn't realize Hana obviously is crushing on him. And so when Henri comes by and wants to help Ashito, he's like he needed help at that moment because he didn't know he was like kind of floundering. And it's understandable, but a little ridiculous. Well, I don't know. They are young, but, like, for Hana just to see him talking to her is not enough of a reason to, like, get mad about it.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
Yeah, but it's like a young jealousy. I didn't mind their relationship. I thought it was done well enough.
But at the end of the season, when they're sitting under the bus stop, and Hana is making some comments about how, she saw him and her brother or whatever they were saying, and he tells her how, her cheering for him is like a superpower. I'm sitting there pumping my fucking fist in my bed because I'm like, Ashto, that's exactly what you should fucking say. And then she realizes what he said, and she's like, do you really mean that? And he's like, absolutely, absolutely mean it. And then she kisses him on the forehead, and then I'm like, holy shit, like they've made a connection here, and I wonder where season 2 is going to go, because now things have become a little more clear right there with that. And I'm really hoping they don't do the anime nonsense where like they just like fall all the way back down the stairs to the bottom because like something dumb happens. I'm really hoping that like Ashto realizes that she likes him, and she likes Ashto back, and is gonna be like his biggest cheerleader, and is gonna help him, and they're gonna be like this team sort of. And I'm really hoping for that. I have no idea. I haven't read the manga, but boy, I'm really pulling for it.
Yeah. Actually, so on that point that you like, small point that you made, and also something that you said earlier, I don't think that, like, okay, so the superpower thing, I felt it more than you did. Like, I saw that they were I thought it was a little bit strange how they were doing this, because the game is very grounded in reality, but the depiction of Ashto's ability to see the field was very superpower-esque. Like he basically warged with the birds that were flying over her head, and he could hear their thoughts. And then his eyes change color, and then he acts like he is possessed. And he does this several times. And so I know that, yeah, he warged. He's like Game of Thrones. So I know that it's probably just a creative way of displaying what is, as you mentioned, a pretty reality-based skill, but it still kind of brought me out of it because the rest of it is pretty realistically depicted. And then every single time that Hana says, "Go, Ashto!" and he's like, oh, he can see the future. I don't know why her presence automatically unlocks this skill for him. I feel like, if anything, it should make him less focused. But yeah, it's just, that was a little goofy, in my opinion.
I think what's happening there is it's very difficult to illustrate for the viewer, like field vision, being able to see everything. And so to me, that was kind of like their way of trying to show you that without, because really all there is like a guy looking at shit. It's not really like anything like amazing to animate for you to watch. But like one guy,
yeah, I mean, sometimes I could see what they'd done was, I can see that being fine. Like, it was just like, sometimes he acted as if he was literally possessed by some being, and he's like, wow, I can't remember what happened. I just did. I don't know why I did that. Why did I do that? And I guess it's just instinctual playing, but it does make it feel like it's, a little bit silly.
Let me describe Aoi, and you let me know if you've heard of this one before, okay? Mm-hmm. We've got a high schooler who is short. He's a little loud. He's a mop-headed pipsqueak. He wears number 10, and they often symbolize him with crows. Okay, I guess no one's seen Haikyuu here. No, it's essentially, he's just a carbon copy of Haikyuu. Like, he's just impulsive, he's brash, and I thought he got more annoying in the second half.
So,
because I don't know how many times when he was out there playing defender, the coach was like, okay, you gotta play defense. And he's out there on the field, in the game, standing with his eyes closed, thinking to himself, I shouldn't be out here. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And just like, people are running by him. Like, that's, you don't do that in the game. Like, annoying. I'm with you, Caroline. It's a little over the dramatic with his powers, but I also agree with Mitz. Like, because soccer is such a fundamentally big game, and depending on the movement of so many characters, you really can only express that at the overhead level. So I like that they had to show it that way, because when they did show stuff on the pitch level, it was a little messy at times. A lot of plays were clearly offsides based on only what we could see, and it was a little inconsistent. So I wish they just divorced his powers, quote-unquote powers, from the overhead view. I wish those were shown in different ways, because it's weird to say, oh, he comes in, he can already see all 22 players with great field vision, but then he has to learn how to turn his head to get that field vision. Like, he kind of already had it. He just knew how to look before. Like, it was a little strange, but his presentation was fine overall. I just thought he got more annoying. I get that he's more of a team player and a leader. It can understand what people need, but as a person, he didn't really grow.
So, since I'm playing,
I don't know. I feel like his transition into a new position. I feel like he improved his personality in that way, because in the beginning, if you took him from like episode 1, he would absolutely not ever play a position that was not forward.
he also would never pass the ball ever.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of the things. Like, they were getting pissed at him because they kept passing him the ball and he kept fucking up. And at the end of the show, he's doing nothing but passing, except for when he needs to be the one that's shooting. I don't know. I thought he grew. I thought he absolutely grew. I think that if I watch the show's first episode and then watch the last episode, and like looking at two different characters completely. That's
as
my
a
opinion.
player, but as a person.
No, I don't. I mean,
I feel like that's kind of one and the same.
Even the way he handled Hana
I
at
think
the
it should
end.
be one and the same, but it wasn't.
Even the way he handled Hana at the end was like the right way to handle it, the moment. And like, I don't think Ashito of the beginning of the show handles it like that. Like, he doesn't get the kiss on the forehead and like the good ending, so to speak. He would probably just like tell her to fuck off. I'm too busy with soccer or something, or look how great I am. Look at my greatness. So, I don't know. Since I'm playing defense here as Ashito, I'm playing defense for the anime as Ashito plays defense in soccer. He's not that short, so he's 5'8". So I'm looking at it right here. 172 centimeters is 5'8". The guy
that's small for a fullback.
I mean, if we want to talk about like height mattering, Hinata is 5'4", spiking the ball over an 8-foot volleyball net. What does he have, like a 49-inch vertical? Like that. I mean, not to like make this about Haikyuu, but like that shit is impossible. Like, the whole concept of Haikyuu would never happen because some high school kid's not going to jump 48 inches. But
I think Haikyuu is about overcoming challenges, and AoAshi is about what?
I feel like AoAshi's more like understanding limitations, because he cannot be a forward. He was told that straight up by Fukuda. Like, you do not have the ability to be a good forward, but
he was
do
told
have
2
the ability
episodes
to be
before he can't even play. He can't even be on the A team. He can't even do this. He can't even do that.
Yeah, I did find his inability to understand
ruse.
basic skills to be kind of strange. Like, I understand he was not part of the club team before, and all these other players were, but his inability to do certain skills is kind of, I thought that was a little strange.
In real life, the average height of all defenders is 6 feet. In the modern game, fullbacks are shorter than the average, at an average of 5'9".
That's fair, but he's also like the shortest on this team, and I guess you don't need that for fullbacks that are coming up on offense. I get that, but it's what I don't think I don't know. His story didn't do much. It was very ineffectual. It was very tepid.
I don't think his height matters at all. Like, I don't think his
No,
height never
it
occurred
doesn't.
to me.
He just was one of the shorter ones on the team, like Hinata.
Speaking of short people on the team, can we talk about what the fuck was his name? Kuroda was his name. I love him.
Yeah, I saw that you put him in your notes.
Love him.
And, like, I don't know why you love him so much. Like, he just was another character.
First of all, he takes the goalpost right to his face in order to score.
Oh yeah.
He goes into that locker room at like halftime and basically tells a bunch of guys that are way bigger and like probably older than him, because this guy's only like 5'2", because he's 161 centimeters. He's 5 full inches shorter than Aoi. Basically tells 2 guys, you need to quit being a bunch of little fucking pussies and man the fuck up and be like men and like put your differences aside and be a team. And this little, as he's like coming in with his like bleeding forehead head bandages, like from just smashing his face, and he just has like this moxie for a little dude that I just fucking love him. Like, he might be my favorite character in this whole show, because he's factually tiny, and he only weighs 55 kilometers. He's like a $120, and he's just like he's like a bigger dick and balls than anybody else on this whole team.
Levi vibes.
I mean, I just loved him. He's just like, and I don't know, and there were some other characters in the show that were pretty good. I thought that
I kind of like Togashi. I learned to like
yeah.
him, and I'm shipping him and Henri right now.
Yeah. Yeah, Togashi was good. Tachibana was good because he was like supposed to be like the best player, but he lost all his confidence and hadn't been playing well. And then he kind of finds himself. And some of the other characters didn't get as much attention, but like this is going to be a long anime.
I was huge on the red-haired guy. Didn't really like him.
Takeshima?
Yeah, I thought that his turnover in the last game and his change of opinion, I thought that was kind of sudden and I didn't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and well, we gotta mention Togashi's hair because Pompadour, you know.
The second he came in, I'm like, oh, Mitsugi is all in on this show.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I loved him. So this is going to be a long anime. This show has 28 volumes of manga, and I don't know how many we adapted, but I'm going to guess not nearly 28. It's probably more like 9, so if that. So I don't know what the average is on like episodes per manga volume or whatever, but. This motherfucker is going to go for a long time, and I think you're just kind of watching the beginning of what is going to be like a major type long journey from like being a kid to going to the pros. And that was kind of like the promise from the beginning because wasn't Fukuda recruiting for like to like win the World Cup or something? So
yeah, to be on the world
dream
stage.
Team in mind.
This motherfucker's been here for a long time.
One thing I'm not looking forward to, I would like to watch another season, but the one thing I'm not looking forward to is having to deal with that one guy on the A team, like that one asshole. He just so, I don't like him.
The guy's always like, you suck, you're terrible, go home, pack up your shit.
Yeah.
I actually thought that Aoi was going to turn down the promotion, and I think he still might, because it just seems too soon for him to leave this cast of characters behind and move on.
I think that there will be some like back and forth maybe because they had 2 of the best players on the B team go into the A team and they were back within weeks and they were saying like they were just not good enough. And I do not see Ashito being in any better position to stay on the A team longer than those 2.
You guys want to give your final thoughts and your scores because it was a pretty good review of the show. We've done a good job, but we are like a little long now. So would you guys like to opine? Give your final opinion.
Sure.
I guess I'll go. I generally like the show. I mean, there were some things that I'm just like, okay, that's silly. Like the player's tendency to get pissed off so easily and then not explain why they're angry is kind of stupid. And that kind of goes hand in hand with Ashito has to figure out a vague problem, and it would just be so much easier to figure out if people were just a little bit more forthcoming with details. And then, it's kind of silly how they were all surprised that the team tanked when they got rid of their 2 best players and put Ashito in a position he has never played in before. So, yeah, great decisions. Overall, though, I thought it was fun, and I think there is some good stuff to come later on in the show because I like to read Crunchyroll comments, and so many people went into started reading the manga because they like the anime, and they were like, oh, some really great stuff is coming. So I'm going to trust them. So I will definitely want to watch the 2nd season, and I'm glad that Mitsugi picked up what I was going to put down. And I've been kind of going back and forth on a score. I'm gonna give this show actually 3.5 Ashito screaming out of 5.
All right. Mason?
Yeah, obviously I was pretty negative on it, not even getting into how bad the dub and the Foley and the music was. It was just a very middle-of-the-road production, very middle-of-the-road story, a lot of characters and moments that bugged me, and I didn't see it. It didn't do much for me. I'm going to give it 2 impossible yellow cards out of 5.
I'm trying to see if there's a season 2 even announced. I'm sure it will have one, but according to some sources, it will have a 2nd season in 2023. Well, that was probably pretty obvious. I think this is the best sports anime I've seen since Haikyuu. I think that I'm tired of watching sports anime that aren't really about sports. They're either about like salarymen who like I'm so tired of like people just whining about their like past problems and their traumas and all this crap and like not really going into depth about the sport. They just like, it's more of a character piece than it is like about actual sports. I'm tired of watching sports anime about sports that no one gives a shit about. Like, no one cares about badminton. No one cares about volleyball.
Stop hating on Ryan's Club.
No, it's just no one cares about archery. It's true. Like, these are just facts. Like, world population, soccer is the number one sport in the world. And after that, it's probably baseball. Then it's basketball, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's nice to see a show actually go into depth about sports. It's about a sport that, like, actually has a following. And just like hit all the notes for me. And so I don't need to go like super long on this. I thought this show was great. It's not perfect. I was going to give this a 5 until Pancake and I were watching Hajime no Ippo this morning, and she was like, you know what? She was like, AoAshi is great, but Hajime no Ippo is better because the characters in Hajime no Ippo are way better. Like, we get more one-on-one time with them. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And so I'm going to give this show 4.5 minutes left. 4.5 minutes of stoppage time out of 5. And I fully expect it to be better going forward. I think that the production is going to kick up because now the show has a following. I think that it's going to get more exciting because the stakes are going to go up. And I'm really pumped to see what happens with Hana and Aoi. And I'm really hoping that goes somewhere as well. So
I feel like you're psyching yourself up for something that's not going to happen. I'm sorry, Mitsugi, but this is anime. You got to remember, this is anime, and they're probably not going to be a couple next season. It's probably going to take until the end of the season, the series.
Once upon a time, there was an anime called Major that had a little boy in it and a little girl, and they both played baseball. And then at the end of Major, spoiler, they got married and had a kid. So it could happen. It's happened before. And Major is fucking awesome. This anime is also not as good as Major, but it's good.
I'll let you dream a little while
I'm
longer.
I'm dreaming of Hana's.
Let's see how many. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say? Was it gonna be something?
Huh? I'm dreaming of Hana. Dreaming of Hana's.
Hana's.
No.
Plural or possessive?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just dreaming of Hana's. That's all.
Call it here. Call the count. Stop the
Sounds
count.
good. Speaking of lewdness, let's talk about the jelly bean count for today. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 27 jelly beans
not
today.
Bad.
Yes, not bad at all. And I'm going to need to floss some of the jelly beans out of my teeth. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you'd like to follow us, we are on Twitter at AAA Podcast. We are on Facebook, AAA Podcast again. Discord, you can join us by using our new link, AAAdiscord.com. Very easy to remember. Make sure you join us for watch parties, for anime club, for the Secret Santa. Again, got to get in there by December 11th. That's the last day that we'll be taking your entry forms, if you will. Click on the pinned notes for more information in the Secret Santa channel of our Discord. And of course, you can find us on TikTok whenever I find time and inspiration to make a TikTok. Next episode, unfortunately, I will not be here for the review of Harem in the Labyrinth of Another.
People are very disappointed, but you're gonna cause that's it.
Oh, I know. I bet I'm missing out on Anime of the Year, and that's gonna suck.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say people will pick season 2 now to make you watch it, but I'm not sure that's gonna get a season 2 based on the ending.
We'll see. But get excited for that, and these other two, we'll see you again next week. I'll see you the week after that. Merry Christmas.
Bye bye, you sexy people.
Have a good one.